welcome back for another episode of Just 5 Minutes. This time around, we're talking sales. I'm going to say sales.js, but I don't think that's strictly true. But it essentially is a full 100% JavaScript framework. So it's built on Node.js basically. So where you've had in the past Node.js and say Express for doing that sort of thing, you know, your MVC side, it's been obviously just the basics in place. Whereas sales, I think they term it as it's a bit like having an MVC pattern, like frameworks like Ruby on Rails, for instance. I personally think, you know, like .NET Framework or something like that, where you've got obviously not just the MVC bit, Model View Controller, but you've got lots of other structural stuff around it. So, for example, you've got actions and controllers, so that's very much on your MVC side. But it's got sort of the idea you've got models. So again, that's great. That's very akin to obviously in Ruby on Rails and again .NET Framework or .NET Core, but it's also got a built-in ORM called Waterline, which is a data store agnostic tool to connect to things like Postgres, Oracle, MySQL, MongoDB, excuse me, and a lot of other ones in there as well. But it basically gives you a full, I think as my term anyway, a full framework. So you know, the other thing it's got obviously is things like it's got real-time aspects with Socket.io, so you can do you know, real-time sort of work very easily out of the box. It's got routing or routing, whichever way you want to call it that. It handles a lot of security for you, at least giving you the framework around that for, you know, protecting certain controllers and access. You know, services and a whole thing. It's got the whole batch really. So I can see why they say it's very much like Ruby on Rails, or again, from my perspective, .NET, where you've got that whole framework. It isn't just a little bit here, a little bit there. It's got a lot of good testing stuff built in, but they've done a really good job. I haven't fully used it in Angular yet. I've played with a couple of little bits here and there, but it does look, and it's just one of those intuitive feelings that I'm doing more and more stuff, well, I have done for a few years now with Angular and Vue, things like that. So, you know, using JavaScript, TypeScript, which is really just a superset of JavaScript anyway, but you know, and I've done work with Node.js and Express, but I think even though I'm sure there's lots of these sort of frameworks out there, this seems very clean, very concise, and it seems to be really well supported as well. As I say, there's a lot of really strong points. But the other thing I wasn't aware of is that it's got a lot of help with deployment, but they've got something called blueprints, where essentially it'll generate API routing and actions based on your app design. So that I don't know too much about. I'm really going to have a play with that. But I just get, like I say, for if you want to go the whole JavaScript, you know, polymorphic JavaScript or whatever they call it, you know, front and back end with Node.js and obviously JavaScript in the front end, it's definitely worth checking out. As I say, it certainly looks like one of the nicest sort of full-featured frameworks for the Node.js world, and I'm certainly going to be having more of a detailed play. I'm going to write a couple of apps in the next couple of weeks or so, but it really does feel like a very well-rounded framework. So that's what I've got this time around. I'll put the link or links into the show notes as usual, and that's what we have this time around. So until next time, bye for now.